Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to my buddy Coderman, a fellow YouTuber here in Massachusetts, we're driving his brand new Ford Bronco with the Sasquatch package. And what I love about this car is that it's a two-door, just the way God intended. This thing just looks incredible. I am all about these proportions. Now, you gotta do it with the Sasquatch package, which adds the 35-inch tires, the Bilstein suspension, and you get front and rear lockers with this. This is the Black Diamond, so it's not the highest trim level. It's probably the more economical everyman's version or spec of the vehicle, but I think it just does the job. I mean, do you really need all the frills? I think this is the way to go. And the last time we drove a Bronco, we had a four-door with a soft top, doors off, just went nuts on the highway and had fun. But today I want to see what this is like as a livable thing, because we've got the hard top on now that they're being delivered sans leaks. And this may just be the best daily driver you can get in New England, because the deal is with the Sasquatch package, you've got 35-inch tires to tackle all the potholes, all the nightmares, all the winter crummy things. Plus you can go off-roading and you got room for 4 people. Under the hood of this particular vehicle, we've got, and see, we've already got, that's gonna be fun. It's because the doors come off. I think you can adjust that and make that better. But under the hood, this one is spec'd out with the 2.7 liter turbo V6. It makes about 315 horsepower. Now, if you want to get this kind of power, you do need to be getting that automatic 10-speed. You cannot have a manual with this engine. And if you want to go for that, you got to do the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder with a little less oomph if you got to have that 7-speed. Now, the 7-speed manual, it's really like a traditional 6-speed, but with a very low crawl gear. So that's cool. That's why it's a 7-speed. We're not talking like Corvette with some crazy overdrive. But under the hood, we've just got a barrel of snakes under here. This is the craziest packaging I've seen on a production car in a very long time, and it's still shocking to me that they didn't put an engine cover on it. Now, I'm not a big fan of engine covers. I'm not telling you this because I think it should have an engine cover. I'm just saying, for something that's a production car that's going to be photographed and all this stuff, this is quite interesting. But at least, you know, the best thing about it is it gives you a lot of access to things, because it would be very easy to pop in and out of these sensors as they may need to be replaced. And that's good. We want a DIY capable vehicle. The proportions on the two-door are obviously just so much better, but you know, you do sacrifice some storage space. And something that really drives me nuts on these is this strut. It takes forever to kind of open. You've got to hold it there, let it relax. Oh, come on. There we go. And now we're open. That is a little annoying to me. But then we open this, we're good to go. We've got enough room for things. If you really wanted to go nuts, you can fold down these rear seats. But my buddy Coderman has kids, and there are children's seats here, so we will not be doing that, nor will we be testing out the rear legroom. But that doesn't really matter, because I don't think I'd be spending much time in the back of this thing. Under here, we've got a little bit of a tool kit with a jack stand. Now, I don't know if this jack stand would actually work on this vehicle, because it's already quite high off the ground. You might need to bring a couple of blocks of wood to get this thing actually jacked up for a tire change on the road, but that's fine. We do have a monster spare. Oops, see, order of operations, Tedward. That's not correct. There we go. But enough about the spec. Let's go take it out for a drive. We've got beautiful fall weather, we've got changing leaves and beautiful country roads, and I want to see how this operates as a daily driver. And the only thing that's a big downside of the two-door versus the four-door is the smaller fuel tank, so you are going to see less range in your two-door. But before we get started, this video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. A virtual private network will help you protect your data. The internet is a dangerous place, and even if they're not stealing your bank account numbers and passwords, they may be targeting ads at you. And with Surfshark VPN, you'll be able to stay incognito. A lot of folks think you're just using a VPN because you're doing illegal things and don't want to be seen, but actually it's nice, because if you're buying plane tickets, they won't know that you've been looking. They won't raise the prices on you. Or if you're traveling, like I used to do quite a bit, and you want to watch your favorite shows on Netflix, certain shows may not be available in the country that you're traveling to. And by using a Surfshark server in your designated country, you'll be able to watch your favorite shows. And all that protection and convenience comes at a very low price, especially if you use the link below with code Tedward. You'll get 83% off in addition to a 1-month free trial. Got the key fob in my pocket. We can go ahead, hit our engine start stop. Fires to life with a very familiar Ford chime. This gauge cluster is really interesting. I kind of wish they gave a different tachometer. This sort of like level gauge for attack is a little odd, and I'm not a huge fan of the graphics. That's for Ford across the board though, so maybe I'm just a hater. Into drive, off we go. I'll have to do some wheeling in this another time, but today I just want to know, how does this thing handle, man? I'm curious. With 35-inch tires, that's no joke. That's a pretty significant bit of rubber on this thing. Now, it wanders just a little bit, but that's not crazy. It's not unsettling. If you're not used to trucks like me, if that's as scary as it gets, that's not bad. These dampers are great. A Ford Raptor, it is not. So don't expect to jump in this and be able to do kind of all the things your Raptor can do. It's not quite that plush. It's not like a trophy truck or anything, which I do believe there's going to be a Bronco Raptor coming out. What a combination of animals that is to put on the side of a vehicle. But sure, that's pretty exciting, and I cannot wait. I'm here for it. This is great stuff. That's certainly plenty of torque and power to get out of its own way. No problems here. The beauty is all this junk on the side of the road, I'm not even concerned about it because I've got monster rubber to take care of it. Pretty much any other vehicle you're getting in today is going to have way oversized wheels with tiny little skinny sidewalls. Can't absorb anything. And if you don't buy the wheel and tire package on like every car new, you're probably going to be in a world of hurt when you got to pay for them all the time. We've got cyclists ahead. We'll be very respectful of these folks because we are dealing with a fairly large and tall truck. Now, it is classified as an SUV, even though it's a body-on-frame thing, so I'm not afraid to call it a truck. We can call it a truck. Good bit of body roll, but nothing crazy. I've got great feedback through the steering, although the steering is fairly light. You do get quite a bit of road noise from these tires, as you'd expect, so no surprises there. Brakes performing quite nicely and really easy to manipulate. You know, I think that's always the challenge, you know, especially if you're used to like Wrangler life. Jeeps in the past, newer Jeeps are a lot easier to articulate and throw around, but Wranglers of the past were always kind of a scary thing to toss your children into and say, yes, go be a 16-year-old in the world and don't die in this vehicle. You know, you sometimes felt like you were playing catch up with the controls on a Wrangler, and I don't feel that way in this. You know, I'm not out of sorts. See what's up here. You know, the nice thing about this is you feel like you can go and explore and just have some fun with it. And basically, no matter where you go, you're not going to get caught up. And because this is the shorter wheelbase version of the Bronco, I think it's going to be more capable because you're not going to be able to beach the thing on anything, you know? If you need to do some crawling and get over some scary terrain, I think this is the way, this is the option. Oh, dope, Land Cruiser. Very cool. All right, off we go. I mean, that's pretty good power. When you do get into the brakes heavy like that, though, you can feel that nosedive just a little bit, and it lifts the rear end. You definitely need to be able to manage weight transfer in this vehicle, but of course, it has, you know, all the safety equipment and traction control to keep you in a straight line. I do just love the idea of a daily driver that can go everywhere and do everything, and that's exactly, man, this is beautiful out here today. That's exactly what the Bronco does. You know, it is a truck that you're used to. If you've had an F-150 or anything like that, this is going to be a very familiar environment for you, but maybe just a little more fun, a little less practical in like the work truck sense, maybe a little more fun in the off-road sense. Ooh, we've got a mangled Infiniti. Looks like you've had a bad morning, sir. Oof. again, this 10-speed shifts very quickly. You almost don't notice it. But here we are, 55 miles per hour. This is where you start to notice, yep, there's a little bit of wind noise here. We're going to take it down a notch, make sure this cyclist does not run out at us. We don't need troubles here. Steering is really lovely. I mean, here we are in something, I mean, back when I was in college, if you had 35-inch tires on your truck, you were pushing it. You get the death wobble. Things were a little sketchy. That was not really the vibe for a day-to-day car that you just kind of toss the keys to anybody in. But I'm impressed. Ford's really dialed this into a point where it feels normal. Like, you completely forget what you're driving. Meanwhile, I'm in something that's like outrageously capable, which I absolutely love. Whenever I look up vehicles like this always surprises me. Oh, look at the color on that bolt. Hopefully it doesn't burn to the ground. It always surprises me how much of a rivalry there is in brand loyalty with vehicles like this. You know, when you see the Wrangler guys get angry about these things, it's something really incredible, and everyone's really quick to jump on the failure train when anything goes wrong, whether it's recalls or like the leaky roof or, you know, anything that goes wrong in these cars. Instantly it's going to get promoted by the other side, which is kind of fun, to be honest. It's fun to watch. I'm not a loyalist to anything. I drive what I like, and that's fine. I mean, I know I've got a couple of BMWs, and maybe it makes me look like I'm a BMW guy. I'm really not. But at the end of the day, I think this is a ridiculously capable vehicle, and we got to give it some credit. And in addition to all the capability, you get the added benefit, like a Wrangler, of having a convertible. You can take the roof off, and you don't have any center support bar or crossbar across it. So it really is a pretty wonderful open air experience. And I gotta say, when you're talking about a fun vehicle, being able to take the roof off is fantastic. I've always underestimated convertibles until I've been driving a lot of them, and now I'm like, you know what? I really do need a convertible in my life. And to be able to have, if this was your only car, the only thing you're driving, an off-roader that's your daily driver that you can also take the roof off of, I mean, you know, that's just the cherry on top of the Bronco sundae. We've got a sweet Volvo V70R in the rear view. That always makes me happy. I love seeing people keeping old stuff alive. But if you're going to buy new stuff, if you're going to get something new, it might as well be something that suits your needs. And if you're somebody who wants to do some off-roading, or maybe you're just looking for something that's obnoxiously capable and never going to leave you stranded, I think the Bronco's cool. I think it does its job. Now, I don't know reliability yet. You know, we got to wait a little bit when we see these things come out, but this engine is certainly not new, and we know what it can do. So, you know, that part of it should already be solved for you. The thing you got to make decisions about is, how do you want this spec'd out? Because Ford has gone crazy with trim levels. Even though I've stared at it for like a significant amount of time, I still couldn't tell you all the trim levels and what changes what in all of these things. You know, you can get these really loaded and optioned out for a lot of money. I don't think that's the vibe for me. I think I'm, you know, looking at something that would be more simple. I really like the spec on this because I'm getting the Sasquatch package, which I want. I'm getting the bigger engine, even though it's, you know, foregoing the manual. But I just, as much as I would like to roll my own gears and have a manual Bronco experience, I don't know that it's worth losing the power and torque, because this is really nice. And I don't think it's overpowered. I think this is really dialed into where it needs to be. Any less, I'm not sure that's where I'd like to personally be in the Bronco. To me, the Bronco poses some major advantages over the Wrangler, namely the independent front suspension instead of having that, you know, single axle across the front. It just improves the handling to a level that cannot be achieved by what the Wrangler has right now. Another thing is, this is a little more idiot-proof when it comes to the off-roading tech, because everything is just electronic. I don't have to like pull a lever to try to get it into 4 low and all that stuff, which, you know, not difficult, but sometimes, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation when you are off-roading and you just can't get the damn thing into the setting you want. Kind of frustrating. With this, you've just got your little scrolly wheel and a couple of buttons for your locking diffs. You know, call me a wimp, but that's kind of nice to just hit a button. I mean, sure, maybe it's more stuff to break, and you could make the argument for reliability all day long on all of these things, and that's totally fine. Thing is though, the Bronco is just fun to drive. I enjoy it. It can be a little slow on the downshift, because not only are you waiting for a downshift on this 10-speed, you're also waiting for it to get into boost. But look, we're not in a sports car, and it doesn't owe us any favors in that regard. I don't find it gear hunting that much, and that's just fine. So Bronco, man, this is a high contender on the capable daily driver list in Tedward land, that's for sure. Even though I do mostly highway driving, that's probably what would kill me on this. But if I was kind of just out in the rural sticks having fun, making sure that I can get through the snow and the dirt and the mud and all the things, you know, this would be the way to go. So thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks to Coder Man for letting me take his baby out for a little while. I also drove his other car, his red 981 GT4 a while back, and I always appreciate when a friend throws me the keys to something they really enjoy. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. The license plate on this is B. Stein, like Bill Stein? Is that Mr. Bill Stein? Ooh.